You have to punch the clock.
Yeah.
Right? It's a job for these guys, and you have to punch the clock. You have to work that full week. And if you don't, well, sorry. We really like you. We'll go to dinner with you at this really cool restaurant.
Yeah.
We'll have fun, but you're not going to have the deck, and you're not going to have the access to our hard work.
And that's exactly what it's not personal. It's business.
Right.
And,
Absolutely.
Outside of work, they're able to remain really good friends. You guys are all incredibly nice. And a lot of friends who, don't work with them, but, play with them.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
All right, it looks like we've got Josh UTTER-LEYTON sitting right there.
You got to look at him and his Channel Fireball, kind of like sweater there almost.
Yeah. Those look nice.
And there's Melissa TORA. Melissa just got her first, premier level event, top 8 in Chile.
Yep.
She was running all around the world with James Searles. They were doing the Planeswalker Points grind.
Yeah.
And they went, to Europe, to South America, to North America, to Asia, all over the place.
It never ceased to surprise me when I would see, well, it stopped surprising me at some point, seeing them in Japan one time and in Chile the next week. So
we got Green-White from Melissa. She led off with Avacyn Pilgrim, followed up with a Doom Traveler.
Doomed! Is it an unruly mob on the part of Josh UTTER-LEYTON?
And then she gets to make a turn 3 Abby Griffin.
Sounds like a pop star from the 80s.
I always think Abby something from Young Frankenstein.
Nice.
Yeah. I have to resist the urge to just call it Abby something. Cobbled Wings goes on the Unruly Mob. It's like that.
It's a lot of wings.
Yeah.
To outfit every single member of the mob.
Oh, that's why they had to cobble them. They ran out of materials.
There we go.
Like, what do we got? We got 2 garbage bags.
And an ice pick.
And a tomato steak.
We can make that work. Trust me, dude, I've made wings with less.
So she gets in for 4.
For Island. Wonder if there's going to be a Moreland haunt hiding somewhere or a Feeling of Dread.
Sure.
People always say it's
More
nothing when they're sure it's something.
Yeah. Melissa loves... she really puts a premium on evasion. She likes the 4-mana flyers a lot more than other people.
Well, it seems to have served her well so far.
She loves Trepidation Blade, which is a card a lot of people don't really like.
I've seen that card be put to interesting use.
Well, the thing is, again, if you're going to have... It's all about the synergy and what you're looking to play. So if you're just going to have a bunch of flying creatures, well, suddenly Trepidation Blade's better.
Yes, that's very true.
Right? If you got Moon of the Unhallowed, maybe it's not as exciting.
Yeah. It makes exactly... it's a very good point. Like, the ability to take a card that doesn't give a tremendous amount of combat bonus and give it to a creature that doesn't care if it has combat bonuses or not, but a powerful ability.
There's something you don't see every day at a limited GP.
What?
A foil card on day 2.
Good point, yes, because we're not using the unmarked packs, so...
Right, players actually opened booster packs, actually cracked their packs, literally and not metaphorically, at the start of day 1
No
today.
more paper ribbons. This is just full-on sound of plastic breaking and the whip of the brand new card.
So it was weird. There was definitely some disorientation for players who saw foils, saw doubles of cards because of foils.
Yep. In fact, there's something that Ochoa brought up when he was discussing one of the cards in his bag. He's like, yeah, I guess it could have been a foil.
So going back over here, we see a Thraben Sentry and then an attack. And then move that Cobbled Wings around.
Alright, so UTTER-LEYTON gets in for his first points of the game. His little Melissa's cheap men have already whittled him down to 12. And now she's got evasion, although... It was mentioned yesterday about how Spectral Riders Intimidate is actually less desirable in this format because white is so strong, so many people tend to gravitate towards it.
She attacks here.
The Zombie with Wings keeps the flyer home.
Standard scale players, time for the construction is over. Please.
Zombie with Wings seems terribly unfair. Right? They've already got inevitability on their side, and no need to ever rest.
Yeah,
but now they get to fly.
We discussed at one point that one of our favorite methods of dealing with the zombie apocalypse was to stand at the top of a ramp with a super soaker full of WD-40 and just let them climb on top of each other and light it on fire. When they have wings, they don't need to bother with the ramp anymore.
Yeah.
Alright, so knock for 2. UTTER-LEYTON declines to block. Drops him down to 10.
Table number 6. I see.
We've reached the halfway point of his life total. He's sitting on a single plains. Can't see his hand too well, so I don't know if that's impacting anything at all. Looks like a couple swamps. Alright, then Zombies turn sideways.
Is that a little cranberries you were doing there?
It's a little Jerry Thompson I was doing there,
Oh,
actually. Okay. Every time I've seen Zombies, I just always think of him saying that in that exact voice. Although, you know, it's a fair amount of the cranberries as well.
They got a flying fen snake.
See, that
Sounds like a wrestling move from the 80s.
The thing is, that's even less fair because now you've got a snake zombie with wings.
Yeah.
Brutus Beefcake from the top ropes with the flying.
Flying fen snake, exactly. That's gonna be
little girl.
Yeah, little girl.
Yep.
Obviously.
Cloistered youth it is. The flavor of that card is just so perfect to me. Like, I do appreciate the werewolves for how they work under transform, but that just
My 3 favorite double face cards are flavor wise: Cloistered Youth, Delver of Secrets,
yeah,
and Ludwig's Test Subject.
yeah. I mean, it's the mechanic is obviously elegant for like the concept of werewolves, but it's how they adapted it to those other things. It's just like that is the utmost of flavor. UTTER-LEYTON is always such a meticulous, quiet player at the table.
Zach Jashaway, your draft is waiting for
Okay.
you. Zach Jashaway, go to
Time for the
table
flying fen snake to get
299.
in there. The TORA, paralyzed in fear at the giant zombie snake with wings.
Yeah, she's pretty blank herself at the table.
Yeah, again, very careful, very meticulous.
It's kind of funny. I remember when I was first starting to do coverage and doing text coverage, players were a lot more talkative at the table. They were a lot more. They were a lot more, almost like the wrestling. You know, they played into the rivalries and there was a lot more talk. But like, I gotta tell you, I just think this generation of players is so good that they just don't want to give away anything. Slayer of the Wicked says, "You're not so bad, Rotting Fen Snake. You can live."
But I'm taking your wings and giving them to another zombie.
Yeah.
Slayers and zombies living together, mass hysteria.
Table 239.
If they had mass hysteria, he would have been able to attack with the Slayer of the Wicked this turn. Because he would have haste.
Another text from Rich, I see. That's fantastic. A little girl, since she wouldn't normally be able to get him to do anything, stays a little girl.
Yeah.
It's carefully controlled possession.
So lurking down below the bar is still a Fragrant Sentry.
Yep.
That should Melissa kill any of Josh's creatures, suddenly becomes a 5/4.
And makes its way onto the play area. So.
No,
But this is kind of things are stalled out. Like Melissa
It's literally waiting in the wings. Or waiting
for the wings. Yeah.
Under seal event players, may I have a
Josh has seemed to.
Hey,
It's us.
As you already know, this is
Josh has seemed to start to take control of the match again
We're going to
because
play 6 rounds of Swiss.
Melissa got him down to about 10 really quickly, and now he's starting to work his way back down. He's taking some fairly large chunks out of her life total.
It will be super fun. So you have 50 minutes. You might be here for the round.
What?
The break.
yeah. Oh, there we go.
Oh man, where do those two handsome gentlemen go? Oh, there's a guy's catcher's rig that materialized and shot a griffin out of the sky. It's not really a geist, but maybe they're branching out. You know,
You
down
can't
economy.
see when they're up that far. You can't.
Yeah. Remember, guys, don't cross the streams.
It's a token. He gets a 5/4 Throbbing Militia.
It certainly is.
Melissa's down to 7.
Yeah, man, that's going to do it.
She scoops.
Her only creatures are 2 1/1s and a 4/4, 2/2. I mean, so.
Yeah, that game was a lot less close than it looked. I mean, she came out early and then really just
It petered
didn't
out.
have a lot. Yeah, it just kind of. All right. So can these guys get there? No.
Yeah, I mean, I think the all-star of that game was definitely the cobbled wings, ironically.
Sure.
So, I mean, with
Well,
all
we
the
didn't see
early-
anything that naturally flew on his side
Not
at all, right?
Nope, and with her having knocked him down to 18 or 8 so early in the match, all it took that point was a couple turns of hanging on,
Right.
and he would be good to go.
Right. He'd be forced to be much more aggressive with his attacks.
Yeah. So this is interesting. I mean, he definitely has a zombie theme. Like Rotting Fen Snake is one of those cards that, I mean, it's a very good blocker, and I guess when you've got a cobbled wings, it makes a pretty solid attacker too. But it's never really high on people's radar as far
It's
as
a card we talked about yesterday. It's just he is I don't know, like Mario Chalmers. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like
know exactly.
yeah, like we got to fill out the roster somehow.
Yep.
I mean, Chalmers has turned out to be pretty good this year, but whatever. You know what I mean? Like just like something that you pick up to fill out. You're like, I've spent all my first round picks on these Bloodline Keepers, and
Yep.
and sometimes you just need to fill out your card. You need cards to play. You can't play all lands. So you're like, this guy does, and he does some things really well.
Yeah.
He trades with werewolves really well,
Yeah, and you also have to think of him like
and he's surprisingly nimble in the air.
yeah. Just an agile
Off the top
display.
rope.
Yeah, Rey
The
Mysterio style.
The flying fen snake.
And the thing is, like, you got to think about him. Like, one thing that always hung me up about cards like that is he's a 5-power creature, and like I always feel bad when a 5-power creature dies to like a 2-power, like a 2/2 or something like
Sure.
that. But when you consider like the cost, what you're spending to get him, and like in situations like that, yeah, it's not amazing. But when your opponent has a 4/4 that they paid 5-6 mana for, and they're like you have your 5/1, all of a sudden they're the ones who can't make the right decision.
You know what? That works to your favor also, though.
Yes.
Right? You have a 5/1, and your opponent doesn't want to.
That's exactly what I was saying. Like
Yeah.
they don't want to attack in, so all of a sudden, like your guy. I mean, you get it from both sides. Like on the attack, like the high power, low toughness creatures, despite the fact that they seem like they're offensively minded, tend to be better defenders than they are attackers.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. That guy's to me is all about killing green creatures.
Oh yeah, he's your guy that helps you take down werewolves.
So, getting tormented pariahs when they flip.
Yeah, exactly. He's the protagonist of the newest Twilight movie, where they switch from vampires and go to werewolves.
Speaking of tormented pariahs,
Well, if that isn't our favorite man from across the pond.
yeah, he's looking a little shaky though. He caught a little bit of a bug somewhere.
Yeah. But doing well, taking care of himself.
Yeah,
So,
hydrating.
hydrating, very important.
I haven't gotten the look Scott yet.
So
I'm a little jealous though. Like I wish I had thought of the get sick plan as the giant game's about to start.
Booster draft number 9 at table 276.
Definitely. It's
Booster draft.
never met someone
number
who
9
loves
at
American
table
football
276.
so much and isn't just American as Rich. But yeah, basketball too. Rich has the NBA. Like he's explained to me at one point how he just has all the major sports packages, and even when he can't, he just listens to the radio. Just tries to get whatever he can.
Yeah.
So good. Well, this deck is interesting because it looked like it had the traditional green-white start of like the hyper-aggressive creatures, just lacked the cards like the Elder Cathara, the travel preparations.
Well,
that
maybe
really,
just like the cards that were. I mean, she had a lot of land towards the end, and
Yeah.
we didn't see. So she may still have that stuff. She
Oh,
may
yeah,
have,
yeah.
She may have the blades, that she likes. She may have more flyers.
I was just specifically speaking in that game. Like,
Yeah,
it
still
feels
don't know what
wrong.
the blues for. It could be a silent departure.
Could be a sound departure. I mean, there's a few really good options for that style of deck.
Grasp of Phantoms.
Yep. There's a Silver Rainblade dagger. There's at least one blade, and I think I see a Feeling of Dread in her hand too. So
Okay.
that, although it wasn't good enough.
Both players are going to ship it back.
I did love the conversation you guys had with Martin the other day when he was talking about how much he mulligans. Like,
Right.
It's just people don't seem to understand that you may think that your hand's okay, but think of what your deck is capable of. Is your hand capable of a 6 hard can that's better than this? If not, why wouldn't you throw a whack and give yourself the best possible chance?
Well, I think he also identified something, and I know I've been guilty of this. I'm sure at home, this will probably resonate with you, where you draw a hand, and maybe it's like 2 lands or 1 land, but your bomb is there, your bloodline keeper's in there.
Yeah.
Right, and you're thinking, or your Olivia, and you're thinking, you're like, wow, I just need to draw. I mean, maybe 2 lands you keep it, depending on the other cards, but 1 land, you're like, if I can just stay alive, I'm going to draw this. If I draw some lands, chump, it's really hard to not get so attached to your card.
Yeah, that's very true. But at the same note, I understand that completely. Like, having a hand where you have identified your way to win the game effectively, and you get it in your opening hand, the situation requires you to go through such a large number of hoops. It's just, it's hard to get there.
I think the struggle people go through with mulliganing is this. They don't mulligan.
Yeah.
Right? They don't mulligan. They're like, I'm not going to mulligan. I'm going to keep this hand. They start mulliganing. So now they mulligan. And something happens, and they mulligan into oblivion, or they're like, I'm not mulliganing. Right?
Yep.
And what they don't do is come up with a consistent game plan for how they're going to mulligan.
Yeah.
Before they go into an event, and stick to it.
Yeah.
And then make an analysis from there about how they go. So we have a similar opening from Melissa. She opened up on Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Rather than use it for...
Aren't you Dark Thicket Wolf?
That guy is so good. Unruly Mom, man. It's a fairly similar start to the first game. Dark Thicket Wolf is a significant upgrade on Melissa's side of the table now. And mentioning that about mulliganing is funny because I remember with Pro Tour Honolulu when Mark Herberholz won, like, one of the things he talked about is he's like, my deck is not amazing, but if I...
There's the travel preparations.
There it is. The card that... One of the big cards that makes green-white so powerful. Green-white is one of those color combinations. When I talk to people at Worlds as well, like, everyone seemed to have that listed as their most powerful card in the format.
I remember early on there was something that there's an Elder Cathar that she might have liked in her deck.
Yes, I can only imagine. And they were sitting at the table. Josh was just to the left of Melissa, so she was feeding him.
So that Elder Cathar dies. It actually puts 3 counters on the Unruly Mob, because the Unruly Mob also gets a human counter.
Bounty of the Hunt.
Melissa doesn't care. She's like, fine, attack.
Sure, you can be a 4/4. That's fine. My Dark Thicket Wolf is still going to be bigger in the long run.
Right.
So now Josh stuck in an interesting decision points because save himself 4 damage here, take 3, and then it's ironic though because Melissa's creature that won't be attacking still has a use. Like,
what was the 3/3 elf? It cost 4.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't remember. Tap per mana, okay.
Cobbled Wings on the Unruly Mob. So she's really kind of clear here to attack for 6 with her Dark Thicket Wolf, because she has nothing going on.
What is she holding on to there, hiding underneath her hand? I guess we'll see in a moment. Dark Thicket Wolf, it's home. No way that Josh is going to spend the turn to equip and then block.
Right. Once you get to a point where he has 2 creatures and can double block, maybe keep one of them alive.
Yeah. So Unruly Mob is interesting. Like, he's really good in black-white if you put that together. Like, it seems like that's one of the color combinations that he's just the strongest in.
Is that a Cobbled Wings?
That is a Cobbled Wings. Oh, man. Wing Wars.
A new Magic Reality TV show.
I'd watch. Let's see, what is that? It's an ambush flipper.
Yep.
From the trees.
Josh is down to 7 here.
And she lift up her ambush viper and attack with her Dark Thicket Wolf and the viper. guess she doesn't need to lift it up. So, yeah. Now Josh is at decision point because, I mean, if he doesn't block, he drops to 1, right?
Yeah. He's, waited till he got a trade out of it.
Is there any reason that Melissa didn't just attack with her Avacyn's Pilgrim too?
Maybe she's got something in mind to use all that mana for this turn.
Okay. Doesn't that put it on him though? Because he's got that when he has to block the Dark Picket Wolf, and or else he dies.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter anyway at this point. And Melissa evens it up at 1 game apiece at this match with the cards that she was missing from the first
the
game.
back half of her deck that we didn't see in game 1.
Exactly, and saw a whopping 3 cards. One brand, we got to see 1 new card out of Josh UTTER-LEYTON's deck. The Auto-Cathar didn't make an appearance last time, but and look who it is in the background behind Melissa.
James Searles.
Her travel companion for her Planeswalker Points journey last year.
Qualified for, I believe, did he qualify for Hawaii as well?
I believe he did, yes.
Yeah.
The power of the Planeswalker program.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was, I mean, and again, playing it that much against that level of competition really, really does step your game up.
Sure.
You learn, I mean, play the game, see the world was, I mean, that's still one of the mottos. It's been that motto for a long time, and it's,
sure.
I mean, it's just so true. The places you get to go for Magic, if you play it a whole bunch and want to make the trip, and even events like this, you come here, you're not just coming to a Grand Prix, you're going to Austin, Texas, which
sure.
is awesome.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah, hit me.
How many people are going to be at Grand Prix Lincoln, Nebraska?
All right, what's the format again?
I believe it's standard.
Standard 2? Yeah, okay.
But I'm not sure. I'll look it up.
I'll set my over/under. That's a really good question. I mean, the thing is Lincoln, Nebraska is a geographically more or less central location. It's not as central as, say, near Chicago is. Centrally located Grand Prix tend to get a larger number of people. I'm going to say, what are we, just over 1,000 for this event here?
1,044.
I'll say about 750 is my over/under, maybe
Okay.
800. The thing is I think the one thing that's going to really help it is the standard is just awesome. Standard
sure.
is in one of the best states it's been in a very long time.
We're assuming it's standard. I have to.
That's a good point. Assuming it's standard. So that's the problem. Is there are so many Grand Prix this year. I lose track of what the formats are.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. Not a problem I thought I'd have to have in the past, but that's great. I have been to Lincoln, Nebraska, though.
But that's certainly the idea of, I think when the program, we'll put some smaller Grand Prix on the schedule for people who look like. And I'm curious how small the smaller GP will be.
The last time I went to Lincoln, Nebraska, it was Invasion Block Team Limited PTQ season. And we did a double dip because we hit Kansas City one weekend and then Lincoln, Nebraska the next weekend. And my favorite quote was I was in the back of this car sleeping. The 2 guys who were driving stopped at a gas station. And I wake up and all I hear is, "Man, she was hot." The other guy goes, "Yeah, Lincoln, Nebraska gas station hot." And I just laughed. Only thing I caught was those 2 sentences. But the tournament was actually a lot of fun. I think that was the tournament that my team, we made it to the finals and played against some young upstart from Arkansas named Neil Reese and his team. We did not win the PTQ, to say the least.
No. So Diagraph Ghoul leads things off for Josh UTTER-LEYTON.
Hits the ground tapped.
Oh my, no, Lincoln is modern.
Lincoln is modern. Oh, that actually could be even better. Modern is such an awesome format, too. Oh, wow, that makes me so happy. Yeah, I stand by my number. Thanks.
So Diagraph Ghoul.
A pair.
That's also going to be the same format as the PTQ season.
Yes. Right? Yep. Which is another reason that I think that it can get a definite boost. So this is an uncharacteristically slow start from Melissa until she ambushes one of the ghouls with a snake. This is Zombie Snake, but in a different, confirmation.
But Ghoul Razor
wow.
brings back the Diagraph Ghoul.
What's she holding on? Is that a Geist Honored Monk in her hand? It would make sense for it to be there because, yes, that's the rare that David Ochoa opened up in his
Splinter Freight. Interesting card in the
green-white.
In the green-white deck.
I mean, the deck.
That is Splinter Freight is a card that is a hallmark of the green-blue mill yourself spider spawning deck.
Yeah. I mean, he's really
There's a
good in this
Falcon.
deck, though.
Ooh, Falcon Wrath Noble.
Oh, wow. That card is so difficult. Oh, there's
So
a
that's
Dark Thicket
two-
Wolf and...
I think a Chapel Geist.
I
Looked
think
like it was
that's
2
what
creatures.
It is, yeah. Casting cost looks about right. Missed that Lone Island again.
So that's now a 3/3.
Yep.
And that's a Cloistered Youth.
Closer to you. We haven't had an opportunity to guess too much this game.
Now,
Or this
and
match, I
then
should say.
travel preparations. So, oops, shoot.
Don't worry, they'll get there at some
Yeah.
point.
That's a 4/4 and a 2/2.
Oh man, this is an interesting.
Yeah, that Falcon Wrath Noble is puts quite the clock on her.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Yeah, we saw Owen last night in the last round of the event just absolutely snatch a game out from under his opponent. Playing for day 2
Yeah.
with a Falcon Wrath Noble.
The card is just it was described by David Ochoa earlier as just one of those cards that some decks just can't beat.
Brian
Like, and
Kibler
green happens to be one of the colors that has a really
the
difficult
Grand
time
Prix
doing
judge
it.
area.
So Melissa attacks. She's not blocking. She gets in for 4.
If you're not blocking, you might as well turn him sideways, right? Yeah, Falcon Wrath Noble when you've got the Grim Grin in
I
play.
keep thinking you're going profane there when you start saying it.
No, I mean, not all of us have our PG-13 rating.
So the Diagraph Ghoul and the Cloistered Youth trade, but that's another 2 points to Melissa. Melissa takes like 6 points total that turn there.
Yeah.
Ticks up her Splinterfright, 5/5.
UTTER-LEYTON is just pushing his life total further with every creature that dies, too.
Yep.
Oh, and Smite the Monstrous. Finally became...
She's at 5. She needs to find an answer here.
Yes. The second 2 games of this match were a bit different than the first. They were high tempo, very quick. The first one just kind of ground on for a little bit. Although it was, I guess, more one-sided than it appeared based on the time that it went. And another travel preparations. Her deck has some serious juice to it.
Yeah.
No, I think my sinus didn't sleep.
Dark Thicket Wolf, no 5th land.
Yeah.
Flashes back travel preparations, makes it a 3/3. But let's be honest here. He's only going to attack with the Falcon Wrath Noble.
Drops her to 3.
Oh, he attacks with both. So it's okay. So, moment of
There it is.
heroism.
That's the last one.
Players interested in your players.
How's that?
Josh UTTER-LEYTON takes the game from the Western TORA, winning the match.
I played so bad in my first match.
The thing is both these decks are really good. Like,
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I've noticed about this format, when especially like when you've got a table like table 1. Like the first pod was a very, very talented pod.